Dom, didn't you have a thing that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm excited to do this episode today. Haunted Mask is a big series in Goosebumps.
This is the World Series of Goosebumps.
I still get those two mixed up, Goosebumps and Goosebuds for some reason.
Well, if enough time passes, we just own Goosebumps. Like, if we can make more content than Goosebumps, Goosebuds becomes the new Goosebumps.
You are correct. That is how modern copyright law works. That is definitely
But
how
I'm trying, if I'm a little quiet this episode, just, remember that I'm still healing. I went and got my Chad surgery.
Oh,
I'm sorry?
Yeah, did you guys see that there's this article in Newsweek, I think, or maybe the New Yorker, and it's details some folks who identify themselves as incels going under the knife and getting surgery to look more handsome on their face.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, their idea of handsome, the ideal, which is a Chad.
I know. Okay.
I had that happen, and I just want to clarify that. I saw the article. I thought it was a good idea. I didn't get Chad quotations.
You got our friend Chad.
I got Chad Kwan surgery. So
What?
that's why I needed those beard trimmings.
This makes a lot of sense, Dom. I thought you were just gonna make like a nice pillow out of them or something, but
no. Yeah, I needed them for your beard. No,
okay.
I have like a big red beard growing out of my face now.
Can I ask what other parts of the surgery was besides? I mean, obviously a beard transplant,
Glasses transplant.
stitched onto the side of your face.
I got your glasses grafted to my head.
Yeah. I mean, did you go for the full package? Did you get the tree trunk
dick?
legs?
Did you get his dick? Is what he's asking.
No, I just got face. Paul, that is, I want to say, as someone who has not really commented to me to give a phone call to see if I've been okay, that was inappropriate to ask if I also got his dick.
I'm just shocked. Okay, and I wasn't told that you had this surgery, so
Well,
until now,
I also would hope that you guys would know that. Listen, yes, a couple years ago when I signed my body rights away for the Chad procedure, I put it in very clear stipulations in the contract that certain parts of my body were not allowed to be digitally scanned, because that's how they do it. They run you through one of those video game actor machines, and they scan your body for all the details. I said no penis.
Yeah, and we need to make it known that in that process, yes, there is a ball that goes on the tip of your dick to track your dick movements.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. It's a little tennis ball and it fits right on top. It's great.
Yeah, goes right on the tip.
You have to stay erect the entire time.
You didn't sign that off though, Chad. You didn't allow that.
No, I did not. I did not put the any genital scanning is not allowed, along with particularly my cheeks. I think my cheeks are my dimples.
Your trademark
are
dimples, yes.
And also my back dimples. I know that's something people are obsessed about. Your little butt dimples above your butt. Those things are also not allowed to be scanned. So Dom, you might have gotten a Chad implant, but you're not only like 95% Chad.
Yeah, I've lost actually just a lot of my sexual identity through this. I've gotten the full body scan. I've changed my mind. Now I have the full body. Whatever. It's fine. I just feel good. I just feel good knowing that there's two Chads in the world and I'm one of them.
Well, this is what's awkward. This is what's awkward about it though, is I wasn't going to tell you guys until,
Oh no. Is this a gift of the Magi situation?
Maybe. I got the Paul.
Oh,
yeah.
I almost got the paw.
Mine's easier to get because Chad, since you are the epitome of fuckability, and that's why the incels look up to you and try to get Chad surgery. I thought you had a strict clause in your cloning, or I guess surgery brief, that only people who were completely unfuckable were allowed to get your surgery, which is astounding to me, Dom, that you got that. I don't know how you got past the censors for that.
Yeah, Dom, you kind of did a downgrade there, buddy. I don't know if you made the right call there.
Oh, I didn't intend that to be the case, Chad. You were incredibly fuckable. It's just that I thought that you had to be entirely unfuckable in order for this to happen.
Yeah.
I knew a guy.
It was an under the table surgery.
Yeah, that guy was That guy was Chad. I was like, I know Chad. He's my friend. They were like, let him have the surgeries. His friend.
Well, here's the problem I'm dealing with. I don't know if you can relate. I mean, because Dom, they probably had to like, inflate you up a little bit. Not that you're not muscular, we just had to add a little extra stuffing in there for the Chad.
Mm-hmm.
For the Paul, they were like, well, listen.
It was ground up textbooks that they filled me with.
For the Paul, they were like, if you want to be Paul, he's a real like in shape, svelte dude. There's too much mass here. We're gonna have to cut some stuff out. And I was like, no, I don't want to lose a single part of me.
Oh, and they let you keep it.
So like they took all of my muscle and fat and everything and like extra bones that I had and just kind of like condensed them down. Like
you're like that cardboard that's incredibly strong now.
Yeah, but it's just packed. Like it's every sec. If I get a single cut, I think I'm just gonna burst, like pop like a balloon.
Yeah, you're like a stuffed animal. Like the all of the old Chad pieces will fly out of you.
Yeah. When you get like something packed and you like saran wrap it, where you air seal it, vacuum. That's what my entire body is now, and it is uncomfortable.
Again, I'm not sure how you got past the legal ramifications that I had set up, where I demanded that anyone who was bigger than me that got Paul surgery, which now the fucking cat's out of the bag here, right? People know they can do this. I had insisted that, like old Nike shoes, anybody's old body parts get ground up and made into ground for children to play on.
Oh, that's really I didn't realize that. I was depriving a playground of that rubbery material.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty damn selfish what you did, Chad.
Well, I heard the a portion of that's only a percentage of the remains that get made into that, Paul, because the other, I believe, get made into Paul Ritchie masks that you can buy at the store. And hey, if they're in the basement of the costume store, I'm going to recommend that you don't put that on.
Don't steal that face.
Because this is Goosebuds, okay?
Welcome to Goosebuds.
Well transitioned, Dom. Dom, you did that with the aplomb of a person with Chad's beautiful physique and
I just feel confident now.
Yeah.
I just feel I'm the way I've always wanted to be. Chad. My friend Chad.
Oh, Dom, I'm touched, man. Now I kind of feel embarrassed that, we didn't do a full swap. Now, here's the unfortunate thing is Paul just not making things awkward. Paul's got to get a Dom.
I have to become Dom now.
Yeah, sorry. I own the copyright on that, and that's illegal.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to negotiate that. Maybe over the course of this episode, we can come to some sort of understanding. And like you said, this is a book that is about becoming someone else with a magical mask that turns you into an old man.
Yeah.
That's right.
If we're going to jump into this book. Can I just talk about the cover real quick?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the cover?
It's a famous cover.
We love a Tim Jacobus. We love his artwork. Can I just say that this is the one cover, it's a great cover, that makes the threat to me super hilarious and not, I feel bad for that monster on that cover. It's a pitiable face.
I mean, it is a hideous face. I'm bringing it up now for my own reference.
And it's pitiable. It's not even hideous. It's just I look at it and I kind of laugh at I'm not threatened by that face.
You're not threatened by old. I'm kind of constantly on alert around old people because they know they can get away with shit and no one's going to do anything.
That's true.
I'm constantly checking my wallets around old folks. Like, I don't know.
You're never going to suspect them, but I just think that I look at this sad old man face with his peeling, wallpaper forehead. And I just think that he looks like he is lost, and he showed up at my house. And when we get into the story, you're going to find out that ultimately that is what happens to our main character. He's just a lost old man. That's
but now you got to take care of an old man. Your whole night's ruined.
Yeah, it's more like just a sad. This is not going to be a fun night for anyone, including the family I returned this old wallpaper peeling forehead man to.
Okay, by the way, wallpaper peeling forehead man is on the level of sweaty toothed madman from Oh Captain, My Captain, the movie. What is that called?
From Master and Commander?
Master and Commander.
No, Robin Williams is a teacher and everyone stands on the...
Dead Poet Society.
Dead Poet Society. That phrase they always kept talking when they read poetry. Sweaty Tooth Madman just burned into my brain.
Hunting for Loyalty, I think it was, right?
Robert Huntington's Book Club.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking of. So this is a sequel to, like, Dom, I think you said, or Paul, the World Series of Goosebumps. Like, this is one of the...
This is a big one. This is a big
iconic
one.
Franchise. They keep going back to it. It's maybe one of the most complex backstories in terms of a magician old man who lives in a house making masks that aren't for sale.
Okay. Before we read this one, because again, this is the World Series of Goosebumps. This is a big night. The stars are out for this book.
All the stars are here. Yeah.
One of the few series of Goosebumps on Goosebuds to get a positive 3 severed hand thumbs ups from us. Right? That's our rating scale.
Yeah.
Occasionally. I had to go back and read the Haunted Mask write up on the Goosebumps wiki, because you had to know what happened in the first one perfectly before you went into this, right?
This is a heavy sequel. This is like a direct sequel.
They do fill you in.
They do.
I mean,
they do.
They do fill you in as to what has happened. Although, if you had read the other one, you kind of know what's going on as soon as Carly Beth shows up.
Yes, and I wasn't expecting them to fill us in. I wasn't sure if it was going to take place where Carly Rae was our main... Carly Rae Jepsen. Carly Rae Jepsen is our main character in this one. Carly Beth, I wasn't sure if she was going to be in it. I wasn't sure if it was going to be the same kids. So I had to just go and make sure. I gotta say, having read the Haunted Mask wiki page, it's scarier than the book.
Wait, the wiki for the first Haunted Mask book is scarier
than the actual book.
Sure.
I don't know. I think we walked away from Haunted Mask with saying that, yeah, it's good and scary. I thought we liked Haunted Mask.
We did, but I'm saying this is scarier.
The write up.
The write up for it is scarier, and you want to know why?
You're looking for the Goosebumps wiki editor who wrote this copy. Is that what you're saying?
I need to know who they are because they wrote a scarier version of this book.
Please step forward, wiki editor, so that we can talk to you and maybe give you a book deal.
They're very good. They wrote it from the point of view of the mask. The whole story is told from the point of view of the mask and its evil plan, as opposed to being told from Carly Beth's dumb child point of view, where she doesn't know what's going on. This is a nefarious mask setting out to destroy this girl, and it's terrifying.
That's some experimental Reddit r/writing prompts type bullshit.
It's scary. It's scary, Chad.
Huh. Okay, so here's what I gotta say, by the way, is that I'm kind of impressed that you guys even remembered who Carly Rae Jepsen, that's her name,
yes.
Who Carly Rae Jepsen was, because, I don't know, I think after each of these books now, I've just been kind of like purging my memory, like Sherlock in the BBC remake, where I have limited amount of hard drive space. I have to now just like remove names of these dumb kids from my brain after each one. I just have to.
Yeah, of course.
I think Carly Beth is kind of like the definitive character for Goosebumps, because she's a kid who is scared easily, who wants to scare the people who have been scaring her. And she learns a lesson, and it's like this trial of like morals and the person you are and the person you become when you do bad things.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying, but I would say that this is the exception in the sense that that's how I remembered her. I was like, oh yeah, and then when they talked about the duck costume, I was like, oh yeah, she's like a dork.
She's a big dork, yeah.
Man, yeah, I must have been taking too many hits to the head. I forgot all of that. Now upon you saying it, I remember it. But
okay,
I remember the book, but more so, I remember the episode of Goosebumps, because we also reviewed the episode. I think
we did.
We walked away really liking the episode of Goosebumps.
This is a scary concept, and I have to clarify. What I had read was not the Haunted Mask page for the book; it was the Haunted Mask wiki page about the mask itself.
Oh,
the lore page for the mask. So I'm sorry, but there is, and let me reiterate, there is a plot breakdown of the Haunted Mask, the book, on the Haunted Masks page from the perspective of the mask, and it's terrifying. Because it makes this thing has a plot and like a scheme that it's pulling off evilly on this girl, and it's terrifying. It's so terrifying.
But aren't we should get into the basic setup. Like the books, the book has seemed to establish that each of these masks made by the same, eccentric dark magician guy.
His name is the Shopkeeper.
Vampire Cape Man.
Vampire Cape Man.
A Cape Man. Just at this point now, a cape to me, I just think like internet guy who buys swords. But but sure, he made all of them.
I just want to clarify that capes and swords are always lived in harmony. Okay, Chad?
Yeah. No, they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. And, magicians with capes swallowing swords, that too. So, I mean, you're right. You're right to think that.
And the Matrix, guns, and they wear trench coats, a.k.a. modern capes. Guns, just modern swords. Trench coats, just modern capes. It's the same thing. It just carries on. We've updated it.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
It's a beautiful pairing, like peanut butter and jelly. It goes together. It will never change.
By the way, I think we could take a strong stance there right now, despite my joke. Goosebuds supports people who want to wear capes. I think we're all on board, right?
I want to own a cloak and a sword very badly, and I want to walk around with them on a daily basis.
Yes, but we do support people wearing capes.
We are following two kids, dorky, weird kids that like to just kind of cause trouble. Like.
Wait, hold on. Yes, they're dorky in our sense, but at this school, they're pranking all the time. In fact, they're the ones who pranked Carly Beth when and they call to it in this book, obviously. That's how I know. Mm-hmm. But they're the ones that put the worm in her sandwich in the first book. That happened.
I thought that was cool world building on R.L. Stein's part.
Yeah, and I think R.L. may have written this one.
You think so? Okay.
This book is called The Haunted Mask, but I don't know if you guys know this. The Haunted Mask 2, The Joys of Bullying. They don't show that subtitle too often.
Bullying, it's necessary and fun. I think that's what it said.
Let me revise my takedown. They're not necessarily dorks. I think they're lonely kids who only have each other, and they are pieces of shit. These kids,
Chad, they're creeps, is what they are.
They are creeps. They are creeps because this whole thing is. By the way, it took me about until I think Carly Rae Jepsen showed up that. I'm gonna keep calling her that because I just really like her new album.
That's her name.
It's pretty solid.
That's what I hear.
That like I didn't even realize they were from the first book. Like I had just forgotten so much. I'm like, yeah, these two are just pieces of shit. But I kind of like them just going, let me tell you about first graders are monsters. I'm like, yeah, first graders are kind of pieces of shit. So this is just a downwards a trajectory of terrible kids. I'm on board. And it wasn't until that they were referencing events from the first book. I'm like, oh, I had forgotten about these dudes. These are recurring pieces of shit.
These are the bad boys from the first book. And we're seeing, this is a novel look at the perspective of the bad boys in a Goosebumps book, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
We've had characters before who were our main characters that were kind of crappy kids. That were either like a little bit of like a sassy older brother or a prankster or whatever. We've had that before, but this is the first time that we are 100% embodying the worst kid in the Goosebumps book.
That's probably I think so. I can't think of an example, but also that's a very valid point, which also makes the direction the story goes confusing and a little bit interesting final choices, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, well, why don't we just set it up here? It begins with them talking about Steve is our hero and Chuck is his bad boy friend, and Chuck has convinced Steve to let a squirrel loose in the gym.
Yep.
And so it happens and chaos erupts, and there is, some punishment handed down. Either, I think Steve has a choice. Either he has to clean something. I forget what it is.
He has to blow up basketballs by mouth until his head explodes.
Yeah, which I don't think you can do that.
No, I've tried before. Unless you have the tightest of lips, unless you have the thinnest of little lips. You can't blow that.
And you
basketball.
can hold you can like squeeze a pin in your lips. But anyway, the other option is that he has to coach first grade soccer.
My favorite part of this punishment is that it's an adult passing off their adult duties to another child, which I love.
Yes, and I thought it was very irresponsible of the adult to pick a child who just has a history, a very troubled history. This is like the Trump administration, okay, is what I'm going to say. That's the way it felt here. And then it opened up on the soccer practice, and for about like 3 chapters, he just gets his ass kicked by first graders.
Which I loved. I loved that part.
Did you guys get the version of this book where the one chapter, there's actually a 4th chapter, Dom, where there is a straight up children's fight club happening, and they're fighting each other with bare knuckle boxing in the soccer field.
Which I liked. I liked that chapter, Paul, because it had the twist of like, our bullies, our 6th grade bullies coming in, ready to inspire this soccer club to totally win the finals, and then the sports tournament's not even a part of it at all. Winning any soccer matches isn't even a thing, and they're like, "Yeah, we're doing a fight club," and he's like, "Oh, cool! I want to do that. I'm tough. I'm strong. I'm a 6th grader." And then they all just kind of trick him into coming into the circle, and then they just take turns just beating him senseless. Like they just kind of they go real Requiem for a Dream with his butt,
It's a very dark turn for the book.
Okay, that was kind of a strange way to say that they really worked him over. I mean, but they did. I mean, at one point, a child just puts his head down and rams it into Steve's chest. He just straight up battering rams his ass.
No, it's not set up at all. It's just out of nowhere the child runs at him. Do
you remember the part? There's a part too where the one of the girls at the practice, the girl who constantly jumps on his back, she drop kicks a ball, straight up drop kicks a ball, and fucking wails him in the stomach with the ball. That literally happens in the book.
She also puts gum in his ear. The kids.
She makes him fall face forward in mud.
The kids paint a ball of concrete to look like a soccer ball, and he fucks his foot up on it.
A group of first graders have the mental capability to conceive a replica concrete soccer ball, and then
they saw this shit on the Flintstones, by the way. I just want to say
this is a mixture of the Flintstones and Charlie Brown put together. Peanuts and Flintstones trickery. They paint a concrete slab to look like a soccer ball, convincingly enough.
Wait, hold on. What do you think happened? They paint a concrete slab?
Not a slab, a ball,
okay.
Like a circle of concrete.
This is not a Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote running into a painted wall situation.
It's not a flat wall. It's not a flat wall. But they take a fucking ball of concrete and then paint it realistically enough that it fools a child 5 years their senior into kicking it with his foot.
Which means that they didn't just get a ball, they sculpted it. They have the means to access wet cement to craft. Like, I don't even know if you could do this without like a custom setup to sculpt it. Because soccer balls are like, they have, I don't know, like hexagonal shapes and everything. Like for him to fall for this.
They are. And they're big. They're big for a concrete ball to roll that all the way to school. That's heavy as hell.
They try to like, to make it like realistic and like we can believe that this happened. They say that one of the first graders in this consortium of first graders that are doing this thing, they live across the street from the park where they practice. So all of the kids worked together to carry this lump of concrete over into the soccer field.
And it pays off. I mean, he fucks his foot up on it.
Oh yeah, he said he broke every bone in his foot, including bones he didn't know he had. So they have maimed him. And I'll be honest, at this point in the book, I'm kind of rooting for the first graders.
Yeah.
Because all we know about the bullies, unless you remember the other stuff, is that they have now abused a squirrel.
Yeah.
A poor innocent squirrel was captured and let loose, and he didn't want to hurt anyone. He just wanted to get out.
He just wanted nuts.
He just wanted some nuts, and there weren't any nuts at all. And just like, I hate these kids, so I was rooting for the first graders and kind of admired their cement ball trap.
And the cement ball sets it off. Steve tells Chuck, I gotta get these kids back. It's almost Halloween. We gotta scare them. What are we gonna do? And then they see Carly Beth walking down the street with her friend Sabrina. They're like, oh, you know what? We haven't been the same since Carly Beth scared us last Halloween with that mask. scaring Carly Beth always makes us feel good because we're creeps. Let's go scare Carly Beth. And so they try to scare Carly Beth, and they sneak up on her, and her head falls off. And they're the ones scared. Boom. Carly Beth still got it. She comes out of her jacket because it was pulled over her head, and on her head she was wearing the plaster of Paris head sculpt that her mother made her, which, if you recall, saved her from, because it was an object of love, and it got the haunted mask off her face.
And I know we talked about this last time in the book. I just want to bring up that when we read the first one, I thought it was bizarre that the mom just made plaster mache heads of her daughter, right? Like, that in itself is strange. But now,
oh yeah, was it paper mache? It was paper mache. I said plaster.
Oh, isn't it? Here's the thing: isn't it the same thing? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. It's goopy and it's gross, and I never want to do it.
Tom, you don't worry. You don't have to do it. It's different.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
They do make a note that it is plaster of Paris. Our boys, Steve and Chuck, think that they're going to do a paper mache mask, and Steve thinks that was Chuck's idea. That Chuck is a complete imbecile for thinking that he would make something realistic out of paper mache.
But she's saying, like, oh, my mom's gotten so good at it because she keeps making more of them. So, like,
her mom is definitely messed up mentally.
Yeah, there's something.
Wrong with
there's
her.
some sort of like, oh, my daughter will stay young and youthful forever, and I'm immortalizing her perfect face.
She's biding time until she can get to 2019 and the Chad surgery is perfected, and she can morph her child into another child.
Sure.
What I loved about that part of the book where they see Carly Rae and they get keep calling her that. They see her and they get an inspiration, as you said, Dom, because they were changed by her horrifying scares the year before, is that they realize this and they're inspired by her and then instantly turn upon her to scare her, because the only thing that these boys love to do is inflict terror upon other people.
Yes, and that is the real definition of a creep.
Yes.
And I want to touch on that again. Later on in the book, there is a very real creep moment, and we'll talk about it.
The license plate?
No, I really like that part too, though, so we'll talk about that.
All right, let's go through all the creeps that are happening in this. Okay.
Yeah.
So they hatch the idea, Steve and Chuck, they say, let us get that mask. Tell us where you got it. And Carly Beth doesn't want to tell them, and they finally, I forget what they do. I think they steal
they steal the paper mache head, which again I thought was pretty. Like, these guys just fucking suck. This is
they're
something
creeps.
that matters to her, and
nothing they do in this book is redeeming. There's no redeemable quality of anything they do. Yeah.
But they get the info from her. She finally tells them, I got it from this old shop. And so they say, great, we're going to go check it out. And I gotta say, throughout this book, these guys maintain a very stereotypical 80s to 90s kind of creep bully vibe throughout. Mm-hmm. So I did like this. I did kind of like that aspect of the book, that it's like, hey, those bad guys, what if it was a book about them? So we get to the basement of this shop, and they break in, and sure enough, they even though it looks like it's closed, the masks are still in the basement, and
they start going through them.
Who appears but our old mask man? Does he have a name, Chad?
He's the shopkeeper.
I don't know if they even call him the shopkeeper in the book, though. Do they? Do they, like? I know in the Wikipedia, because I wanted to look him up to remember the first one. He's like capital S shopkeeper. But in this one, he's...
Yeah, well, it is from the perspective of the bully, so to them, he's just some guy, and that's why he just goes by description with it, where he has a cape and he looks like a vampire.
See, they said vampire. I, for some reason, was picturing tuxedo mask. I don't know why.
He does. He has an old suit on underneath of it, old style, so you might be right.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's probably got tuxedo mask, but he's just super old looking.
Yes.
But anyway, he gets upset. He's like, "Get out of here! What are you trying to steal these masks? I'm about to call your parents." And I like that the kid's like, "I want this mask. I'll pay you." And he's like, "These masks are not for sale." And if you recall, these masks are the unloved from the first book, which nobody wants them because they're so ugly.
Yep.
And so they're haunted for some reason. But as an adult, it is so hilarious that an old man is haunted are cursed by these like goofy masks.
Yeah, that are
Like-
alive and have some sort of like sentience to them. Because at one point, like when they're smuggling the masks away, he feels the mask bite him.
Yeah, they have the ability to act on their own even when they're not on someone's face.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what I think I had forgotten a lot of the stuff from the first book, but Carly Rae says, I know it's Carly Beth. I'm so sorry. Carly Rae says,
No, let's just call her that.
Yeah, you guys decided that 2 times ago. Just do it. Stop referencing it.
Carly Rae is like, he wanted to make people who were beautiful, but they got ugly instead. I'm like, I didn't need to know, because there's horror and mystery in the unknown. So by saying, well, it was a science experiment to make beautiful people, I'm like, now I need to know every step of the experiment. I need to know what was the purpose, where they were going, what was your game plan, what went wrong. I guess there's sentient masks of people who are real.
Yeah. If you want a little more information,
check your local library.
Check out the Haunted Mask wiki page, not the series, but the mask itself, the character, the mask.
If you go to the Shopkeeper's wiki page, they give you some general information about him real quick, guys. His alignment is good, and his status is alive, just so you know.
Who said?
Okay.
The guy writing the wiki just made their D&D alignment? I don't know about that.
He's good. He's a good guy.
He is trying to protect these children from the horrors that they deal with when they put on the mask, because that's what happens.
I'm sorry, I gotta argue. I know that was just a quick moment, Beat. I just gotta argue that he is neutral, at least in terms of
that's true. He lets them perform an evil task, stealing.
Yeah, and also he's making sentient life without considering the morals of it. Like,
that's true too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little chaos in there, but
hey, Chad, I think you got to take it up with whoever wrote the wiki page for the Haunted Mask.
Wiki editor, show yourself. Come on the podcast. We'll talk.
Yeah, we need to talk to you.
But Steve does. He does kind of let Steve steal the mask, because he could have stopped him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Steve runs home. Steve runs home. He puts on the mask. He makes a point not to tell Chuck that he actually got out of there with the mask, because Chuck's going to get scared too. Mm-hmm. So he gets home and he puts on the masks, and it's this old... It's just like the cover. It's this old green... Is it green? I thought it was...
This
anyway.
is great. It is. The cover is very accurate.
The first mask he pulled out was purple, and it wasn't this one. That's why I was thinking purple. But anyway, it's this old mask with all these folds and details and one tooth hanging out, and it's and wallpaper skin has been peeled off his face, and he's got stringy hair, and spiders are crawling in the hair. And it's a classic mask.
It is a classic mask, but you're about to say he's going to put it on. But I do want to note there's 2 creep moments that happen before he puts the mask on that we need.
Yeah, call out the creeps.
We got to call out the creeps. The first is he's so happy that he got this mask, that he's planning his revenge. He's so happy about his revenge that he imagines himself in the future with a car with a license plate that says revenge on it, because he fucking loves...
That's true. He gets so excited about scaring children. He says, I can't wait to have my revenge. And he goes, revenge, what a great word. I'm going to put it on my license plate.
and then he does go to put the mask on, but his mom calls him down for dinner. He's been stealing stuff, and he's been out, and he missed dinner, and she calls him down for a late dinner. And he sits down to eat the dinner. It's macaroni and cheese.
Oh.
And he's shoveling it down into his gullet, and he's just absolutely smashing this bowl of macaroni and cheese. And he starts thinking about the evil that he's about to perpetrate upon these children, and he starts to smile, and food just drips out of his mouth as he smiles at the evil that he's about to perpetrate on these small children.
That's creepy.
Again, a sixth grader too. It's not like he is not an adult pretending that he's going to have a Count of Monte Cristo level revenge plan against these children.
Yes. Well, I think we've established just in the past, talking about middle school. Middle school is where you become the inflicted or the inflictor.
Yes.
The tables really turn, or not necessarily turn, but the stakes are heightened in middle school, and you suddenly find out if you are a nerd or an aggressive person.
A nerd or a narc. I'm trying to think of an N-word to make it sound real solid, easy to remember, but...
A creep. I mean, it's a C word.
Yeah.
It's creep. But anyway, so he's just creeping out all over. He puts on the mask. He's eating. He's freaking got food dripping out of his mouth. His dog does that thing where it wants what you're eating, but then it looks at what you're eating and it says, "Nah, I don't want that." Because it does that with the macaroni.
I mean, it's processed macaroni and cheese, so it knows.
Yeah, and shame on Mom for preparing that for the beautiful, young and growing Steven. But yeah, so what do we have next? I believe that he can't get the mask off; it's burning, and he falls asleep.
Yeah, when he eats his meal and he relishes the revenge that he's going to have.
Yes,
gets up the next day, goes to school, gets his ass kicked some more. But the whole time he's getting his ass kicked, he's thinking about how great it's going to. He's like taking.
Oh, he hasn't put on the mask yet. That's right. He's
taking blow after blow from the children. They're absolutely
just
reaming
real railroading him.
They work him over. They work him over.
They smash his chin into a bike stand and he gets cut open.
It's fucked up how bad these kids fuck him up.
They really fuck Steve up. And
he talks about leaving that practice bruised and limping, but he's okay because he's still thinking about that revenge he's gonna get.
And he comes home to the mask. His parents are out, still at work.
Well, before he does that, he does tell the children, "Hey,
oh yeah, that's right. He makes
we're gonna have a Halloween party," and the kids, who are completely blind, it seems they are completely blind to the violence they are inflicting on Steven.
Blinded by their rage.
Oh, see, I think it's cold. I think it's cold calculating sociopathy. But if you guys think it's a murder rage,
well, like kid, you'll be sitting eating food somewhere, and then all of a sudden, a child is screaming just to scream.
Sure,
and the reality is that we just have this energy in us. And once we're in first grade is when we're all together and we have enough motor skills to really wreak havoc. And that's what these children are doing. And it's not their fault. It's not malicious. They're just insane people.
I also think maybe these kids, I'm just going to go out here. And this is how I interpreted it.
Let's hear it.
These kids are only, as far as we're aware of, abusing, what's his name? Steve? What's this creep's name?
Steve.
Like, they're only doing it as Steve. And as far as we know, Steve is a piece of shit. So I think these kids have just like, higher intelligence where they're going, we can tell that this boy is evil. And like animal instincts, we just know that something's bad and we need to stop it.
He's right. Steve sucks and is deserving of punishment. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I read it a little bit. That they, like the way an animal might suddenly detect a ghost. They're they're turning into attack mode as soon as Steve shows up.
Steve is a sick boy that must be put down.
Yes, that's how I interpret their actions a little bit.
Yeah.
But
so Steve gets the children together and says, "We're going to have a Halloween party." And the kids are like, "Yay." And he says, "Let's go. We're going to go meet at the old mansion."
Oh, not just the old mansion, the Carpenter house. I was like, is that a John Carpenter reference?
Yeah, it's a Carpenter house.
And that's where murders happen. People know that murders happen there.
It just kept getting called out in terms of a spooky house where I made me go like, oh, is this like a callback to another book? Is there a Carpenter that I'm not remembering in Goosebumps?
I mean, before Michael Myers, there was no masked killer like that. You know what I mean? He's wearing a Halloween mask. As we now know, it is a mask from the film The Devil's Reign, which was a mask of a movie where people melt, and it was freaking William Shatner's face.
Oh, I didn't know it was part of another movie. I thought it was just a William Shatner gag mask that got transformed.
The Devil's Reign is a William Shatner movie where Ernest Borgnine plays the villain, and he is a Satanist. And the movie was also made with, like, I think the head of Satan, the satanic religion, as a consultant on the film. But it is a boring movie, but people do melt. Anyway, so that could be a reference to John Carpenter and Halloween, meeting at an old house that's supposedly haunted, which is kind of what happens in Halloween as well.
That's true. That works double ways. So
reference. he tells the kids to meet him at this house, and the kids are apprehensive. But then they're like, okay, it's Halloween. We're going to do this because this guy would never do this to us. It's Steven. He lets us kick his ass every day.
Even though we've been abusing him for months, we think he just actually wants to take us out to a nice party.
Yes.
If he is trying to pull a fast one on them, they know they can kick his ass. So they're
fucking turn around. And so Steven goes home and he puts on the mask, and it's awesome, and he loves it. It's fucking so cool. But then the mask won't come off, and he's alarmed. And then his mom and dad come home, and then he's like, "Oh goodness, I have to go face mom and dad, but I'll put on the rest of a costume." And now,
he plays sick and goes to sleep. He tries to call Carly Rae Jepsen and tries to get in touch with her. And her dad picks up the phone, and the mask has changed his voice.
Yes. This is another creep moment.
He tries to call Carly Rae. Can't just say who he is. He just starts talking as an old man and saying cryptic things to her father. Her father is like, "I am not letting you, weird, creepy old man who claims to be friends with my daughter, talk to my daughter. I'm hanging up the phone now. Goodbye." And he hangs up on him. And then Steve has to give up for the night and go to sleep.
Because he can't get the mask off, by the way, right? Like I think I missed a detail where he tried to pull it off and failed. It seemed like he was just like, "Well, this is stuck to my skin now. I sound like an old man."
Yeah, he pulls from the eye sockets, from the neck, from the hair, and it all hurts him terribly as he rips at his face to get this thing off.
And as also important detail I think I just want to mention is that he is feeling another personality take over, like an old man who likes to laugh is what it's like. It's taking over his brain, which is interesting. And I couldn't help but picture this is really fucked up, but like latex, like tendrils working its way into his brain. I thought it was just like,
that's cool,
like merging with him kind of thing.
Yeah, because he wakes up and he's like, "Oh man, I'm still have this mask on. I need some breakfast. Maybe I need some milk and oatmeal."
Yeah, it's making him literally an old man, not just like a monster, an old man.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a great fake out chapter before he wakes up to have that breakfast where he wakes up and he takes the mask off and he's like, "Oh, thank God it came off." And then he wakes up again, and that was a dream within a dream of him getting the mask off. A great RL moment right there.
And I have to say, this book has few fake outs.
Yeah.
And that is one where it's made upon the person who is usually the perpetrator of the fake out.
Yes.
So
yes.
It was nice.
It was nice. So yeah, he gets up and he has that old man desire for breakfast. Then he just has cornflakes, right? And he has a really hard time eating them with his single tooth, which was a really fun image to imagine a child with one tooth trying to eat a bowl of cornflakes.
With a tooth with a hole in it, by the way, too.
Yeah, yes.
Cornflakes sog almost instantly, so it's kind of perfect.
Yes, you could disgustingly slurp down soggy cornflakes.
Okay, well, can I point out that there's nothing, I know this is like bonding with his skin. I personally think masks are really fucking gross in general, like fake latex against your... But I don't know if there's anything grosser in my memory than like when you have either makeup or like mask type stuff on and trying to eat with that on you, like,
oh no,
and you're like tasting the mask while you're like trying to eat your peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, it's like
gross.
Putting food into a balloon and then squeezing the food back out of the balloon.
God, Paul, that's so much my nightmare. Holy shit,
it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Chad, but in the original book, the original Haunted Mask, the mask does the same thing where it begins to change Carly's personality throughout the book.
But she was like a mean person, right? Like, wasn't she just like evil?
She was evil and mean, whereas in this one, Steve is being turned into an old, decrepit man who's really just falling apart.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like what the damage it was doing to his body, because he talks about being like tired and not having the strength. So like, is it affecting all of his muscles, or is it like a mental thing where you just feel tired?
Yes, I think it's a mental thing. I feel like, I don't know. Dom, how'd you read it?
I read it as a complete takeover of who he was, but also calling to the person he really is inside, which is a creep, right?
Yeah.
A creepy old man.
Yes.
A creepy, angry, bitter old man.
And so in the order of things that happen, what is the very next thing that happens? He basically, the next big beat is that he tries to get the mask off by talking to Carly Beth, which I will continue to call her. You guys can call her Carly Ray.
Fine, split the sides, Civil War.
Yes. Civil War. Was lazily said. Anyway. Carly Beth tries to help him get the mask off, right?
Yes. He goes. Well, actually, the first thing that happens, which is great, is
he goes to the Carpenter mansion, right? He's finally like, oh, you know what? I can't get this mask off, but I am going to get my revenge.
And he has a great thought before he goes, because he's essentially the order of operations is he's going to go to the Carpenter Museum, scare the kids, go to Carly's house, scare Carly, then reveal that it's just him and Carly will help him out. And literally his entire plan is to be an evil piece of shit all night. And then at some point at the end of the night, things will work out for him and he'll be okay.
Yeah, his priorities are so out of whack that made me hate him the whole time in this book.
Yes, he's just an evil shit the whole time.
So my favorite part of the book, actually, if I could describe this part of it as a mind, is
where he meets up with the kids.
Meets up with the kids, and this is why I think these kids are maybe the heroes of the book. Is he's like, oh, I'm going to meet him up with the Carpenter. Also, I don't know how these kids got approval from their parents to meet unsupervised at Halloween night with a sixth grader. That's a whole other thing.
Right.
Yeah, first grade. I mean, you need an adult.
You need an adult, and a sixth grader is not an adult. But they're like meeting for the Carpenter Mansion, and instead of scaring them, they just think he's an old man and try to help him. They're like all heroes.
His evil plan is thwarted by compassion, which is the best. Yeah. The best result that could have happened from his intentions.
They're like, can we walk you to the bus? Do we need someone to get you home? Are you lost? These kids are heroes and show compassion for the elderly. And he's just like, can't get it across that he's their sixth grade soccer coach.
But he makes a smart decision and he says, you know what? If I can't scare the kids, then I will have them help me. And he tells them to take him to Carly Beth's house.
And they escort him and they basically carry him there.
Yeah.
They basically carry him there. And then he gets close to Carly Beth. And Carly Beth does not like this old man's presence. And he starts to call out to her. And she says, get away from me or I'm going to call my dad. Because he's a fucking creep again. He's like following this girl. So he has that moment and he's like, fuck, I'm not an old man. It's me. It's Steve. And he somehow gets across to her. How does he do this? She basically is like, oh, wait, it's not just some old creep. It's him.
I think he just says enough like, I went to the mask store. Like, okay, that's only a thing that Steve would know.
Right.
Like,
he admits that he was an asshole and didn't listen to her. When she warned him of the dire things that would happen to him if he went to this store, he just admits that he was a shithead and just went to the store and did this. So that's how she.
Which I also think was like I was only a tiny bit annoyed with Carly Ray going, "Oh, Steve, you didn't go to the mask store, did you?" He's like, "Yeah, he asked you for the location. He was going to go there."
Yeah, he extorted it from you.
Yes, evilly extorted it.
She's on board now, I guess, helping him, but he's still like, after 3 or 4 attempted scares, Carly Ray, a hero, wants to help.
Yes. Once again, Carly Ray is going to help you.
He called her Carly Ray. We won the Civil War. Just saying.
Yes. You guys won the Civil War. So anyway, they say, Carly Beth says, you need an object of love, some kind of love in your life. Mm-hmm. And so his idea is that he's going to go get his mom's cookies and give them out.
Yes. Oh, he's going to eat them. He's going to eat one, Dom.
My mom drives 2 hours to get these cookies for me, and she knows I love them, so they are the sign of love.
Yeah, and that's a sweet thing, I think.
And so he gets home, and his mom says, I'm sorry, I would give them to you, but the dog got into them, and he ate them all.
And you know what? In that brief moment of humanity that Steve shows, that glimpse of humanity that there may be a spark of some sort of compassion within his body is quickly snuffed out, and we realize why Steve is the way he is. He has a terrible dog that eats his cookies, and his mom doesn't care. And quickly we see that his home life is pretty messed up, and that this is why
you are a bit of a sympathizer, Paul. You mention it that way. I do. They were jokes, but I could see it.
No, I did. Did you guys have this reaction? I did. So they show up, right, and the mom's like, "Oh, the dog Rascal or whatever the fuck its name is, ate all the cookies." What a shame. I'm kind of more like, I'm annoyed that you guys are leaving cookies around, but that happens. That dog ate some black and white chocolate cookies. That dog needs to go to the hospital.
Yes, it has chocolate. Terrible.
My dog ate chocolate all the time. My dogs fucking accidentally got into chocolate and they were fine.
So you're saying that the chocolate thing is a lie?
Is that you just don't have to take care of your dogs and they're fine?
No, I disagree with this. You must, as someone who's...
I disagree as well. My family just didn't do anything ever.
You pump that dog's stomach every time it happens.
Yeah, as someone who has to take his dog to the emergency vet every couple of months because somehow he found a way to eat trash. I associate very strongly with take care of your dog, and when you fuck up, go get him taken care of. But
yes.
So the cookies are gone. The cookies have been eaten by the dog, which leads to, I think, Carly Rae's idea of like, oh, the dog is the symbol of love. Look how much that dog loves you.
Yes.
I don't. But then they go to find the dog, have to like chase after him. Mm-hmm. And then, if I remember this right, when they're holding the dog, he like wants to get out of his arms as fast as possible and scurries away. They're like, well, the dog's not the symbol of love.
Yes. It was just, they just have this moment of realization that the dog doesn't, again, sad moment in Steve's life. The dog does not love him. And the dog runs off.
Because the dog can recognize he's a creep. I think the dog can tell that this is not a good owner.
Like the first graders that dismally abuse Steve every day of his life. There's a deep nature level inference of his just that he's a terrible person and that he should not be a part of the human tribe. And they're casting him back out into the world. And the dog does this as well.
Yes. So they're like, this is where I got to call it. I am enjoying the fuck out of this book in terms of like things are happening and there's new revelations and there's some dumb cliffhangers, but they're minor. This book is so clearly written stream of consciousness, I think. Like, yes, because it's, well, all the stuff in the first book is a symbol of love because they're called the unloved. There's a rule we made up. Cool. Several chapters of doing this. I guess it wasn't a symbol of love. Let's go back to the store. Like, that is just wasted time.
And like, ultimately, like, you knew that he was going to go back to the store. It just has to happen. He has to go back to the store. He has to talk to the shopkeeper to figure out how to solve his problem. And you know it's coming. And then, like you said, Chad, it's just sort of like this afterthought where they're like, let's just go back to the store. And they go back. And then they talk to the shop. Do they even talk to the shopkeeper?
No, I don't think the shopkeeper's there. They break back in. They're constantly... Again, this shopkeeper, I gotta think, is doing some sort of, like, Faustian trap where he's like, how dare you wear these masks? But he's, like, leaving them out on display and letting kids run off with them. So clearly he kind of wants this to happen, right? Like,
I think you're right, Chad. I think he has children wear the mask and then he takes them back from the child and he wears them himself and he enjoys the thought that a creepy child was inside of that mask as well.
Oh God, that's even darker than I thought. Yeah, that's super fucked up.
He's a sick man.
Yeah, they go back. I don't think they even run into the shopkeeper because he's just upstairs watching Jeopardy and like, I hear rummaging. Whatever, they'll be fine this time.
Mm-hmm.
They go down there and they just opening boxes and I guess Carly Rae finds a suit.
A jumpsuit, yes.
A jumpsuit it's a jumpsuit is matching because it also has spiders on it, which we haven't talked about at this point. I want to ask. The mask is clearly alive, right? It's like human skin.
Yes.
It keeps describing how there are spiders that crawl in and out of the ears and hair. Mm-hmm. Are you guys interpreting that as fake plastic spiders that come alive, or just spiders are all over it? Therefore, this kid is like spiders are crawling in and out of its mouth while it's talking. Like,
yeah, so it's like some weird cursed body thing where since it's a haunted mask, it's also got these like haunted magical elements. And once you put it on, then your whole head becomes kind of like this part of this haunted magical element. So yeah, I do believe that they are crawling in, real spiders crawling in and out of his ears.
So that meant the entire time when Steve is like not really that concerned about getting the mask off, it drove me nuts. he's like
that there were actual bugs
there
crawling
are
out of his ears.
spiders crawling in and out of the holes of your face, and you're just like, but hold on though, I'm gonna scare some first graders. Like, no, spiders are in your mouth. Like, get it off.
The man that plans revenge digs 2 graves, Chad. That's all I gotta say.
So finally they find this matching jumpsuit, and there's spiders on it, and the mask comes off Steve's head magically, and it pairs up with the jumpsuit, and the jumpsuit and mask do a little jig, and then they shuffle to the stairs and they dance out of the cellar, and it's gone.
I know. It pairs up magically. Doesn't say anything. Yeah.
It dances. It does dance.
Implying that it's having a good time. Yeah.
And it's gone. And it's over.
Which
That's it.
Which didn't really fit. I guess it doesn't matter. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is old man mask. It's creepy old man. I would think the costume would then fit cosmetic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right.
It would lurch away on a cane like an old man. But instead, it's just like, oh, this was
an old vaudeville, like an old vaudeville performer.
It was the Six Flags guy.
Oh, you're right, dude.
Oh my God.
Dom. I thought that in my head when he described it. I actually saw that.
It is
old man
Mr.
dancing
Six
his way
Flags. Holy shit.
out. Mr. Six danced his way out.
And, just like the Taco Bell dog, actually a woman.
Is that true about both the dog and the Six Flags man?
Yes.
I
Both
love that.
women.
I love it.
Both female, at least, not woman. Like dog.
I think it's kind of fucked up how let's take this time to talk about how it was really messed up that Six Flags trapped a woman and put it on a cursed mask and then used her as a mascot for years. Like, made her dance with an enchanted mask.
In exchange for what? Money? Come on.
No, I think it was some sort of indentured servitude. Like, when you do enough dancing, we'll let you free.
It was a black voodoo. Yeah, it was like an evil voodoo that they put upon her.
Well, that's fucked up. Of Six Flags.
According to USA Today, Mr. Six is the creation of Donor Advertising of Southfield, Michigan.
That's far less exciting than
culminating in Mr. Six appearing on US's Good Morning America.
Wow. You know who was on Good Morning America? Quark.
I remember watching that. It was great.
Yeah, that Good Morning America was with Regis and Kelly, right?
No, wait, no. Good Morning America is like Coda and stuff. Like
wait, really?
Oh.
Diane Sawyer and all that's you're thinking of Live with Regis and Kelly.
Oh. Well, Quark was on one of those shows. I've been watching Deep Space Nine.
Sorry, who's
great.
Quark?
We'll talk about it.
That is
he owns the bar. He's the Ferengi with the big ears.
But was he a host on Good Morning America?
No, just when they were promoting the show, he came on in full Quark
okay,
makeup.
now I understand. I thought you were about to reveal to me that like Matt Lauer played Quark, and I was ready to have my mind blown.
No, oh my God, dear God, no. We like Quark. Most of us like Quark.
Most of us like Quark,
even though he is sexist and kind of gross sometimes. But
Quark really sucks. But
it's good. It's a good show. You should watch Deep Space Nine. Anyway, you were saying the Six Flags person. Did it say she is female? Right? She's.
I'm
female
looking
dancer.
this up. Though, here's what I think is crazy. Despite also knowing that the Six Flags dance, Mr. Six is how he's known, is the dance he does performs moves from both the Melbourne Shuffle, Jump Style, and tectonic with a K. It shows that he is a non-speaking role initially, but in 2004, Six Flags Great America held a contest to find the best person who could impersonate the new, quote, ambassador of fun, Mr. Six. The reward would be $2,500 in cash and other small prizes. But I don't think they're mentioning that this was Six Flags looking to pass on the curse of Mr. Six to a new person. And unfortunately, 13-year-old Jordan Pope won the contest. And he was never seen from ever again.
Yeah, wow. And he rapidly aged. I do like that about this book, rapidly aging. Like, that is a good horror trope that isn't used enough.
This book was scary. And Chad, as you were saying, this was like a pretty decent one until the end. where they just combine this man's face with his body, and he runs away, and then the book is over, and then you get what you knew was coming, right? The ending, the quote unquote ending, where they discover Chuck, who scares them after they leave the basement, and Chuck has the mask on, and he scares them, and they go, "Oh no, he took the purple mask with the worm in its face," and he says, "I can't get it off. Can you help me?" And then the implication being they're gonna walk back down in the basement and find the suit that belongs to that mask, and it's gonna run off.
Wait, I'm sorry, guys. I want to keep talking to you about this book. In the Wikipedia entry for Mr. Six, I just have to share this.
Let's hear it.
On under retirement and revival. On November 29th, 2005, Daniel Snyder, owner of the Washington Redskins, took over Six Flags, and on the very next day announced the retirement of the ad campaign. Snyder said that Mr. Six was, quote, pointless. Mr. Six and the, quote, "it's playtime" motto would be dropped, and Six Flags' next ad campaign would be called Friendly, Clean, Fast, Safe Service. Despite this, the mascot was still prominently featured at Six Flags theme parks on merchandise until its revival in 2009. The Mr. Six campaign was replaced by the More Flags, More Fun campaign, which introduced an unnamed Asian character shouting the tagline at viewers.
Okay.
And then he returned in 2009 with new television commercials and a little sidekick called Little Six, a much younger version of himself. I think that is Jordan Pope breaking free from his imprisonment. Now another golem creature that the Six Flags Corporation, but also, wow, for the owner of the Washington Redskins.
Who the hell's Jordan Pope?
He's the kid who won the contest to be Mr. Six.
Yes,
oh, I'm sorry.
Now appears a couple of years later as Little Six. That's where they've been.
Wow.
Like Weapon X being trained and honed into another ambassador of fun. This is a terrifying company.
Okay, so Six Flags, More Fun is scary. I wish I had a bigger image of this, but it's only this big, and I'm sending it over. Okay, I'm putting it in the Discord chat. Everyone needs to see this image here
right now. Beauty Queen Natasha and Cardboard Walk are trying to figure out what we could be recording. It's the podcast.
It's the podcast.
I mean, look at this image. Look at this gross image.
Where'd you send it? I don't see it.
It's in the rando stuff.
Rando
shit.
This is a Austin Powers Little Me, Mini Me situation.
Absolute mini. Wait, so that's a woman on the left?
No, apparently that is
I'm
not.
pretty sure.
I looked it up.
What? I was wrong?
Shout out to Danny Thiessen. Was born as Daniel Thiessen, known for his work as crew members on This Is 40 and Get Him to the Greek, but best recognized as Mr. Six, the dancing old guy mascot for Six Flags theme parks.
Well, regardless, this image I've linked is very creepy. Okay, I'm disturbed by the face the old man is.
No,
making.
he's wilting away. Yeah, he is.
He's passing on the curse. He's like giving this child a look, and the kid is like, "Give me the curse. I'm ready to be the Six Flags man."
It's the beginning of Deep Space Nine, where the slug is transferred from one body to the next. He's just transferring his spirit slug into that little child's body.
Yes, that is what is happening. God, I hate this fucking old man. Oh, this is awful. Oh, I why did we get here? Guys, oh wait, oh my God, it comes full circle, baby.
What?
Here we go.
What?
Here we go. Okay, this is gonna go in the main chat.
What's going on? Shout out to our Discord.
Shout out to our Discord. Bear with me 2 seconds. Here it comes, loading. It's uploading, and it's sent, and it's there.
Whoa!
Oh my God, it's a haunted mask.
That is
it's a haunted Six Flags mask. There is not too much old detail on there. It just looks like an insane large bald man.
It's kind of, what if Ross Perot did meth?
Yes, it's crazy. It's Ross Perot. If Ross Perot was in Total Recall and was like a fake mask that a person
the part where
Arnold Schwarzenegger
yes, puts the fake lady's face on and it comes off. That's what's happening to Ross Perot.
That is what's happening to Ross Perot here.
So
yes.
So okay, all right. This is a more interesting horror story than Haunted Mask 2, but I think it's the same.
They did the same thing. It was just kind of boring.
It's the same world. The only thing interesting about this book, and we talked about it earlier, is that
when we talk about Six Flags.
Is when we talk about Six Flags. Because it makes me think about scary roller coasters that I love.
Cedar Point's better anyway. Let's be honest. It's a much better amusement park. Six Flags.
I've never been, but I heard it's great.
Yeah. Six Flags is like, we have the Peanuts. Do you want Charlie? Speaking of Charlie Brown Peanuts, they're the mascots in Six Flags.
Oh my God, it's all connected. It's all connected.
No, they're the mascots at Knott's Berry's farm. The mascots at Six Flags are the Warner Brothers characters.
Oh, you're
He's
right. I'm sorry. I thought it was Cedar. You know what? It also might have been Cedar Point. They kind of move.
Yeah.
The Peanuts are kind of hoarded out for every amusement park that wants it.
Yeah, they used to be at Dorney Park, which is a Pennsylvania theme park. They used to have them, but then they moved to Knott's Berry. And now they have the Berenstein Bears are the Dorney Park mascots.
The Berenstein Bears.
Here's the only reason this book is interesting.
Yes.
It's from the perspective of a psychopath evil boy. And we've never had this depraved of a main character. And it was actually pretty interesting to see from their perspective. It's an unreliable narrator because including the beginning of the thing where he's talking about the prank and he says it's all Chuck's idea. And then as he goes through the steps of the prank, you realize it's just Steve's idea. He's just passing it off as Chuck. The only thing that Chuck did was have the animal that Steve chose to abuse and use as a trick to play an evil trick on his other classmates.
Yeah, and like we said at the very, we kind of went over quickly because I wanted to drop the Six Flags bomb on you. Yeah, Chuck at the end is like, oh, I also stole a mask. Look, it's a thing with a worm out of its cheek.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the ending. It's just that's happening again. And we know that, and as I said, the solution to Chuck's problem is for them to turn around, go back inside of the shop, and find the thing that belongs to that mask, and then they're good. We already know that the solution is easy to find.
I'm just posting old man masks in the chat now.
This is why I have a problem with this book. Again, a blast to read because stuff keeps happening, even if it's real dumb. That like all the stuff in the first part of it doesn't really go anywhere. Like the children don't play any part in the end.
Right.
Like the kid who's probably one. I know we say this a lot. One of the scummiest, creepiest kids in Goosebumps, bumps, not buds, is. Gets away pretty scot-free. And I feel like this is a book that should have ended with, like, just gonna pitch, I couldn't get the mask off. And I went to the kids, and they took me to a nursing home. But
Chad, I was thinking the same thing, that he should have been trapped as an old man for the rest of his life and punished.
And he can't, like, tell people what, happened to him, so he just has to live his life that way. Like,
yes.
Here's another alt that I just thought of. He has to go to school the next day, and his parents are just mad at him that he's still wearing the mask, and they say, fine, whatever, just get to school. And so he goes to school, and he has to teach the children the soccer practice, and the kids kick his ass so bad because they're just grossed out by this old man who's trying to tell him to play soccer. So they kick his ass so bad, and tearing at his flesh, and they pull the mask off.
Oh, okay.
But he's got first-degree burns.
He's changed forever under the mask.
I like that.
Yes.
He has to wear... I love that he has to wear a red letter, a scarlet letter of shame.
An easy A, so to speak.
Yes, he has his easy A.
Reference.
Yes.
I'm going to pitch off of that. I like did a lot dumb. How about he puts, this dumb kid, he puts on the old man mask, becomes old. And also earlier on in the book, he kept talking about how he wanted to have a car with a revenge license plate. So he has a lot of like, God, I can't wait till I'm older and kids respect me. He becomes old. It sucks because he's like incontinent and all that sort of stuff. But then he's like, well, I still got to coach the big game for the kids or we're going to lose the finals. And he shows up, and because he's old, the kids listen to him and he coaches them to victory. But as they score the winning goal, because he's old, he dies. And he
oh my God, yes.
Shit.
And the kids mourn him forever, like old man Crothers who showed up we never knew before. Way better than our 6th grade coach. We love him. We'll bury him right now, and we'll have a funeral for him.
Yes, and they bury him on the field, and then because he had such a dedication to the children's sport, and then for the rest of eternity, children stomp on his grave as they play soccer.
And they put the cement soccer ball as his tombstone.
Yes, because he loves soccer.
Oh my God, it's a beautiful ending.
Guys, I gotta say, I think that's a great place to end it. I don't think anything gets better.
It's not going to get better than that. We finished it. It's done.
I agree. I think that's been the Haunted Mask too.
That has been the Haunted Mask too. So that is the Haunted Mask. I have to say that I think it's a pretty good one, but overall, nothing new happens. So it's a pretty well-written book, but I'm kind of disappointed that nothing really new happened.
I will say that the book was okay, but I did like that we finally got what we've been asking for this entire series, which is vivid depictions of children kicking other children's asses.
Yeah. I think at this point I walk away from it with the roving band of marauders that are these first grade kids. I love them. Yes. I hope that they somehow become. There's a third Haunted Mask book, I'm pretty sure. I would somehow hope that they all become the Haunted Mask kids. I don't know how, but if it's like passing the curse along, I would hope that's
like the Flintstone kids, but
like Bam Bam and whatever Pebbles. You mean like the Flintstone Kid vitamins?
No, well, that's Flintstone Kids was like a cartoon that came out in the 80s where it was like Pebbles and Bam Bam, but then also kid versions of like all the main characters. So
yeah, that confused me. I was always unsure of what that meant in terms of the lore.
I think it was just kids from Bedrock. Anyway,
sure.
Let's not get into that.
But no, I do want to say, real quick note, I swear to God, we're going to wrap this up. Flintstones 2, Viva Rock Vegas. Fred Flintstone is played by Robert Baratheon. Blew my mind. Pretty great. If you want to see him and one of the Baldwins pretend to be Barney Rubble and Fred Flintstone. Anyway, that's Haunted Mask 2.
We did it. We got through another sequel, and we're approaching very quickly one of the sequels that I think we're all really looking forward to, and that is the Say Cheese or Die, or Say Cheese and Die sequel, to see if there's any sort of repercussions for the murder that those children's committed.
Say Cheese and Die again. It sounds like they will kill again. We're not sure. We'll find out.
We're not completely aware. We'll be there next time. If you also want to help steer the direction of the show, what books we read, what adventure ones we cover, you can support the show on patreon.com/goosebuds. Not only do you get to vote on what we read next, but you get access to bonus Camp Goosebud episodes and a lot of other cool stuff like our Discord that we post strange out-of-context images in, and people talk about their fears and hopes.
It's beautiful.
Mostly their fears.
Mostly their fears.
Another way to help out the show is by leaving an iTunes review. I know it can be a pain in the rear to remember your iTunes password, but hey, if you really wanted to help us and you just love us and you're willing to go through resetting your password, then leaving an iTunes review is a great way to help the show. And I've got a review here. This one is from Invisible Cow. They say, great show, 5 stars. They say, never got to read Goosebumps as a child because I was such a scaredy cat. But this is a fantastic way to actually understand the mind of R.L. Stine, who killed my dog and put a curse on my crops.
Oh, Jesus.
That's unfortunate.
I'm scared. Someone needs to warn RL.
Is that the Scarecrow Walks at Midnight reference? I forgot. Is that
Maybe.
Scarecrow? Did the dog die in that? If so, I feel really bad for that dog.
Yeah, maybe it does, but yeah.
Don't worry, an invisible cow is coming to murder R.L. Stine in revenge. So don't worry, that dog will be avenged.
A farm spirit, if you will.
I have one here from Luke Dalla that says, I'm slurping on that slippery slimin' podcast. And he said, gnarly, love Luke.
Yeah, so, okay. So, that's a review. We appreciate that review. I think you guys can, this is a challenge to the listeners of this show. Can you write a compelling review that's as compelling as the Haunted Mask wiki entry? Not for the series, but for the character, the Haunted Mask that Paul read. You should really flex your writing skills. Maybe talk about, maybe describe our voices. How about that? Or our spooky demeanor, something. Just give us something.
Write from a unique perspective, like that, how that was written from the perspective of the mask. Maybe write from the perspective of our microphones, talking about how our voices feel going inside of them.
Or maybe right from the perspective of the listener. You. Do what you want.
Yeah, And another way, if you want to support the show, you can follow us on Twitter. We promote all the new stuff coming out. And we love seeing you guys retweet us to spread the good gospel of Goosebuds. Shout out to people like Sam Kim, Steve Nemzik, Mackenzie B., Blastotron, The Rupel, Third Sergio, Cat to Cat. We really appreciate you guys on Twitter interacting with us and sharing the love. It means a lot. And that's at Goosebuds Pod on Twitter.
Yes, thank you.
You can follow myself at Dom Moschiti both on Instagram and Twitter. There's some things that I post there, but most of the time I'm posting on Paperback Paradise. And you can buy new merchandise. I have new postcards and posters. I have a Bats Kick My Ass poster.
Yeah.
It's great at comfyjunior.com. It's only $6. How about that? That's
what
a
a
good
deal.
price. Okay.
You can follow me at Paul Ritchie on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram, Paul_Ritchie, RITCHEY. I'll post pictures of sunsets and cats on there.
And you can find his baseball trivia Instagram at Ball Pitchy.
Ball Pitchy, yes. Thank you for finally giving that some love, Dom. That was something that no one had been paying attention to, and I'm excited to get more facts out into the world.
Yes.
Pitch those facts out into the world. And you can also find me on our sister podcast, which is Pretend Friends, and there's going to be a crossover episode coming up very soon.
I'm so excited for that juicy crossover.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Chad, what are you up to?
I'm writing a lot. You can find me on most internet stuff at Quantum Theory, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Twitch. I swear I'm going to get back into streaming. Just been kind of enjoying making some stuff that's all building up steam and energy before it releases out of the earth like cicadas. It's a real good time. And
it sounds like a good one.
Guys, I think that's Goosebuds.
I think so.
That's Goosebuds. That's Haunted Mask 2. I'll see you on the other side of the mask. See you on the other side of the mask, baby.
I'll see you on Son of the Mask. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye. This episode of Goosebuds is brought to you by our beautiful patrons at patreon.com/goosebuds. Thank you to
Kale Clinton,
Chris Culver,
Reed Stupendike,
Funny Cat Eating a Whole Pizza.mpeg,
The Dragon Llama,
Solezo,
Stefan Jive Turkey Kuwabara,
You guys ever just think about zenticles?
Anthony Kuwabara,
Hollis Hornbeak,
Drew Applegate,
Brock Graham,
Buddy Morrill,
Heath Robinson,
Hugh Bolin,
Cameron Murphy Audio,
Aaron Watching You Sleep Dom Cole,
Joe,
Chris Birch,
Joey Evans,
Clayton C.,
Becca McWilliams,
Carl Kleinasser,
Dapio,
Joe, Remember to Save Early and Often, Scott,
Molicious,
David Cron,
John Keaty,
Senpai Gods,
Fred Atkins,
Kramer,
Yanni Markovina,
Joshua P. Robertson,
Michael Knight,
Blake Alvarez,
Kyla Tharp,
Paul Grasso,
Carewise Gamgee,
Michael McDowell,
Stealth Bates,
Elusive Koala,
Mickey C.,
Turtlemancer,
Jessica Zybol,
Mike Lanteri,
Sleepy Boy 69,
Cameron Hansen,
Nathan Dolezal,
Walter Fraser,
Christian Van Skyver.
Nick Hinkle,
Joseph Miranda,
Go to comfyjunior.com. You know I appreciate that one.
Daniel Callejas,
Taylor Dierks,
Paul's Christmas Sock, a.k.a. Watch Out for That Dirty Slink, a.k.a. PCSWOFTDS.
French Onion Supine,
Slumlord Onion,
Swaggy Bones McSkelly Squire,
Jared Mason,
Patrick Reynolds,
Jesus Christ,
Jim Greaves,
Robert Moon,
Boney,
Martin A. Macias,
Scott Colopy,
Boss Skeleton,
Natu Pearl Henderson,
Alistair Perez,
Brooke X,
Zangief,
Jason Crooker,
Corey Shelley,
Christopher Boyce,
Third Sergio.
Joe.
Joshua Gooflumps Lopez.
Chad's sexy grandma.
Chase Nyman.
Jubs.
Christina Doling. Clay Castle.
Etonomore.
The Rupel Productions.
Just a pretty good dog overall.
Generally depressing.
Afshin.
Miguel Pardo.
Jeremy Lowe.
Trent Davis.
Low Belly Hate Me.
Vincent Modica.
Rex Ronan Experimental Surgeon.
Luke Noodles.
Rocky Raccoon. Zach Connor.
Calf.
Adam Norton.
Bean Father Spookman.
Cody Redfield.
Anxious Serve.
Connor Church. Matt, the half-court warlock bachelor.
Avery Whitney.
Randy Hernandez.
Christopher Dunn. John the Howling Eye still knocks and stares down at you. Chad Duda.
Trendy Moron.
Yeah.
Zambambino.
Ryan Kite.
Gabe Chavez.
Carter Glass.
Ishak Arifin.
Emma be drinking blue icy.
Maddie.
Foolish for Deborah.
Matthew, last month was supposed to be P-Shop theme? Confused, but I love it. Paranoia Shop? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Jackie Goofy Bread Ladoo.
Pollo Boyo.
You know it's real.
Reinfected.
Jordan Lockwood.
Ryan Melfi.
Valhalla Black.
Snigginson. Van Pickens. The Puerto Rican Dream. Tyler Penner. Alan Saylor. Chosen One. Gregory D. Warren. James Roy. Kyle Billings. Mikey Jello.
Boss Garrettson.
Sam Hash.
Chris Pittman.
Aiden Dice.
Dan.
Bradford Coulter.
Dylan Eads.
Dylan Vaughn.
Joe Tierney.
Jake Young.
Patreon donator, yo. Tom Whitman.
Jin K. Jonas Engman.
Lady Storyweaver.
Rich Hilborn.
Smooth Mage.
Shifty Swamps.
Ryan Stewart.
Danky McStanky.
Soup Experimental.
Toothless Barry the Whistler Bostowitz.
Will Holmes.
Divaldi.
A pair of Scots.
Dan Henshaw.
Blade Damas.
Joshua Jacobwitz.
Mickle Hartscorn _
Justin Wagman.
Calamity Carl.
Brendan, I know about you and Beanfather, and I want a divorce.
Danger Tits.
Jennifer Britton.
Cardboard Walk.
Goose Time.
Cree Bricky.
Jonas Evan Voldson.
Eric England.
Llama Consultant. Marceline Miller.
Eric LeBaron.
Jonas Blotterman.
Nicholas Johnson.
Goblin Library.
Stephen Edwards.
Aaron T. Strunk.
Leviathan.
ZB.
Matthew Literal.
Alan G. Jasomi.
Brandon Rowdenbush.
Nathan Remick.
Andrew Big Jadson Naked Co-Ed Goose Bumping T-shirt.
Ryan Shell.
Dango Twiss.
Goon Cahoots.
Tommy, Beautiful Magical Breakfast Boy. Hoey.
Steven Ghost Kisser Daniels.
Rug.
Lord Cornwallis.
Victor.
Nick Johnson.
Up and Champ.
That really wets my bread.
Alicia Grafe.
And Brian Wells.
Thank you to everyone